streaming your sets online, the whats, the whys, the hows. Let's get a little technical on this. Alright everybody, before we start the video, please navigate down, hit that subscribe button, make sure you ding that notification bell as well. Also make sure to like the video, and please, if you want to support the channel, head over to my Patreon page and subscribe. Now with everything that's been going on, there's been this propensity for DJs, including myself, to kind of just shake off those cobwebs, to get really creative, and to do some streaming online, be it Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, so many other potential sources that are out there. Mixer is another one that's out there. So there's a lot of sources they can go to be able to stream. And with that, there is some technical know-how to get the best audio to that source, so that way everything sounds good. But there's a lot of different ways that you can approach this. Now let's make this 100% clear before we jump into this. This is a violation of copyright when you do this. Now, there are agreements from YouTube, from Facebook and others that has worked out arrangements to be able to play certain songs within your content, and it's not going to get flagged other than maybe to serve ads up onto that song. There's also definitely some songs that are out there that are just red flagged. Jay-Z, for one, that I know on YouTube, for instance. Probably because of his agreement between Tidal and others, that is content that I know personally has been red flagged on sources like YouTube, and might even be on Facebook as well. But just be aware, nothing that you can do, no remixing, pitching, or anything like that will necessarily guarantee that those songs will stay up when you're streaming. And there could be events that if you're on, say, Facebook, where they just cut your stream, and then you gotta either restart the stream or you just stop your stream entirely. So be aware, there really is nothing that you can do. Even if you throw those remixes out there, Content ID is fairly intelligent, and while you might be able to get away with it, just don't be like, oh, I found the magic formula to this, because there is no magic formula to this at all. Some people get lucky. I've gotten lucky enough where I had an almost 2-hour stream go without being interrupted on Facebook. I've also had others where I think I restarted 7, 8, 9 times during an entire 2-hour stream. So just be mindful. There's no magic formula. There's no posting. You're not the owner of the copyright on it. Things like that. That just does not work. So please don't flood the comments with, I found some magic, this, or this. Unless you have bought the streaming rights to it, and it's not just possessing certain rights, there's additional layers of licensing that you need to do to truly be legitimate. And I don't think there's a single way that one of us could ever afford to truly do like a totally legitimate set. Not even the likes of Jeff or Scratch Bastard or anybody out there, even with big money, would want to go through all the rings to be able to do something like this. So just, again, make this perfectly aware. There is copyright law that you have to contend with doing this. Now, with all that being said, there are actually some legitimate outlets you can go through, like Live 365, for an internet audio streaming only solution. Again, you're not going to be showing any video on this, but there is an actual licensing component that you can purchase that does legitimize your set. So that is a route that you can take. It's actually what got me into doing streaming in the first place. I know I have this legitimate channel that this is going through. It adds an additional layer of complexity to it all. But I also want to show the video side of it. It's more than just audio in this case of what I'm trying to present out there. So I know at least, I've got this one stream that I'm going through that is truly legitimate, that is high quality audio, that I know that will work for me. But you can definitely seek out solutions for audio only streaming. Again, if you go the video route, you go through social media, there's a whole different ball of wax you have to contend with. So what have I learned through all my trials and tribulations of trying to set up actually a number of sources out there? Well, let's start off with some of the most obvious ones. Facebook, by far, has the most engaged audience from everything that I've done so far. And that makes sense. Facebook is definitely one of the most, at least for me, follower-wise and whatnot, have a lot of people that do on that. So I will get, a good amount. It's not a crazy amount by any stretch of the imagination, but I do get some people that will hit me. I want to say between 1 to like 50, I think has been my max on Facebook. So that's what my what I've seen on this. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, you are definitely more likely to trip off something. And it's impossible to really know what songs are really tripping off the Facebook algorithm, which songs they don't have these agreements on that just won't pass muster through what they need to do, and they'll just cut, again, that stream off. Now, I will say that Facebook has gotten a lot more relaxed. Before, you could actually get your account suspended by doing these things. It seems that they have definitely relaxed that quite a bit. They just end the stream and that's it. And with tools that I'm using, it's actually easy to restart the stream. So basically when I've been doing these things, Facebook, I just click it off, click it on, and boom, I'm done. So, and I will get a little bit more into the tools, but Facebook has been a good source from a perspective of audience. The next one is Twitch. Twitch, I would say, has the best luck when it comes to having a continuous stream without being interrupted. They do have an option to archive the stream, but I will say that Twitch is far more aggressive in the songs that it mutes on it. I haven't seen it where they've actually pulled the video off of it, but I've had large swaths, like 80%, 90% of my video being silenced after their content ID system kind of goes through, and it usually takes a couple days for it to happen. So don't rely on Twitch for, say, looking at those archive footages and getting anything useful out of that. But for the in-the-moment streaming, it has been the best when it comes to just a nice continuous stream without being delayed. YouTube is pretty close to that too. I've only had to really restart YouTube a couple times. And the one advantage I would say with YouTube is I actually had one video that actually passed muster. Like, you could actually see all the songs that it found that its content ID system had tripped, but it was just monetizing for those artists, and I'm totally fine with that. But then there are some of those red flag songs that, again, kind of impossible to know, but I do know that Jay-Z has flagged them, Prince has flagged them, or to say the estate of Prince has flagged them. So again, just be aware that there's a very good chance that there's just going to be one song, and if you're doing a multi-hour stream on this, that those could end up being tripped, and next thing you know, it's just not playable, at least within the US, and quite frankly, could not be playable, globally. So just be aware. YouTube, again, a really good streaming quality. It has a decent audience. I actually want to say it's probably been my second best audience so far. I think that's also attributable to, I do have a little bit of a following over there. People do get notified by email when I do go live. So there is that component that there's some awareness that can happen from it. Twitch, I would dare say, it's probably been the third, best source for that. Then comes Instagram. Instagram is a real pain. I've actually given up on Instagram for a couple of reasons. One of them, the streams seem to be very short. I've just had a lot of misfortune of having less than 30-minute streams go on over there. Unfortunately, I'm not D-Nice. I love his parties that he's been throwing, just absolutely bonkers. Some others have been successful on there as well. And I think if you have a verified account over there, that you have more success and the ability to do this. But as lonely old me, is just not nearly as effective. And honestly, audience-wise, I think I might have seen a max of like 9 in any one thing. I would dare say I actually have better luck streaming right through my phone as opposed to trying to kind of cob up my video and everything within my software to be able to get it out, so I got that pristine audio and video going to it, which is a shame. I really want to grow my Instagram platform. I thought this could be a really good avenue to work that, but unfortunately it's just not working for me. And I'm going to probably try a couple more things here and there, but largely I've kind of abandoned the idea of at least going through my software and formatting the video to be able to accommodate that, as well as all the other sources that I do. If I do it again, I'll probably just do it through the phone again. That just seems to be a bit easier to do it, but we'll see what happens as time goes on. But right now I'm kind of abandoning that. Now there's some other ones out there like Periscope, like Mixer. I don't have any audiences over that way. I just haven't had the need to do it. I do know some people have successfully streamed on both. I'm not sure what the audience sizes are and whatnot, but I do know it is an available opportunity out there. So if you do happen to have an audience that could go onto those channels, it is something to look at. I will say with Mixer, If you haven't registered before, it takes at least 24 hours to get your API keys over, which of course that takes a bit of time to just, you can't stream at the moment. Basically, you gotta wait for all that initial setup and everything before you can commit to that. We'll also say that Mixer and Twitch has a fairly aggressive policy about copyright content. Now, I don't know if they'll actually suspend your channels as the terms of service says it will. And honestly, Facebook does it as well. YouTube does it as well. But it's just something to be aware that these are a little bit more unknowns going down the road. So if you're trying to build a larger audience and kind of an archive and having this whole platform with it, I would dare suggest try to go as many platforms as possible, because it at least gives you some diversity. So this way, if one platform starts becoming a problem, you've already established the possibility of other platforms already, and you're not trying to just shift constantly between one or another. Now, for a while, I was trying to basically use Facebook as my central location. Start to stream there, and I would tell everybody, hey, everything from this internet radio station over to Twitch, over to YouTube, these are better sources of quality. And I even got to a point where I even just tried Facebook streaming over my phone. Everything else was the quality stream. And people were still sticking on Facebook. I couldn't get it. I was hoping that they would click on YouTube or Twitch. And I still kind of do that. I've got all my links there. I've actually even made short links from my website, so things are a little bit easier to get to for some of these locations, like pariscreative.com/YT for YouTube, /TTT for the radio streaming service that I've been using. So, again, I was trying to move people over there, but it wasn't quite working as well as I hoped. I know a couple people did. But just be aware, if you're kind of going over that same strategy, you might get a similar experience where people are just going to stick with Facebook regardless, even if you have to start and restart those streams over and over. And you might have just more success on that platform than others. Now, how am I streaming across to everybody? Well, first and foremost, I use software that's called OBS, Open Broadcast Software. And while it does seem a little bit intimidating at first, I would dare say after you get a little bit of use out of it, that you should get comfortable enough to at least know the basics and all that. OBS is the main platform that I manage my video. I actually have two cameras that I use. Right behind me, you'll see overhead boom. I have a Logitech C922 camera on that. It's normally my webcam for like my Zoom meetings and stuff like that. I do that for the overhead, so I have something interesting to look at within the video other than just looking at my face. I do have one that is focused on me. That is actually my MacBook Pro, my daily laptop. That's what I'm using to capture that. So I can actually use multiple video sources in this to at least make it look something more interesting than just the one-shot look. I normally will place that laptop up on top, so I've got both my laptops on there. So I have my gig laptop doing my virtual DJ, and I have my my daily laptop managing all my video. Now, this is where things get a little complicated. If you want to do more than just one streaming services, I personally use a service called Restream.io. And basically what this allows is to go through OBS to stream to that service, and then that service rebroadcasts out to multiple services. You can actually pay for more services to go to, so you can do 1, you could do 3, you could do 5, whatever the magic number is. There is an increased cost to get above, I believe the number is 3. Right now I'm doing this for my Facebook stream, my YouTube stream, and my Twitch stream. And like I said, it's not too difficult once you kind of get used to it. You basically take your API key out of Restream.io, you put that in your OBS software so OBS can talk to Restream, and then you connect your services up on Restream to your YouTube, to your Facebook, and to your Twitch, and naturally if you're also doing Periscope or Mixer or others. You can even do Instagram, and again, I did this once with Instagram, but you have to do a third-party piece, so you're doing this custom RTMP server on your machine. I used one from Yellow Duck, and then connecting that to Instagram, then having to start up OBS, then start up your Restream, or else things would crash. It just got too much of a headache to do. But I would dare say that once I got the Restream, the main parts, my YouTube, my Facebook, and my Twitch set, to where I wanted, and then I got OBS, really stable in how I wanted to set up video-wise, it actually is pretty simple because all I now do is I'll go into Restream, I'll get ready to launch, I'll start up my OBS. As soon as I start up OBS, I'll turn on Restream on my individual streams, or you can toggle them all at once, and that's it. I'm ready to go. So very simple for that. Where it gets complicated for me is getting the audio and video to it. Now, I have, luckily for me, equipment that allows me to do some additional things. I have my Soundcraft UI24 that actually acts as a sound card. It has a USB B-type output that's on it, and there's actually other devices, some far cheaper than the UI24. And if you have that capability, then most likely you'll have either drivers in Windows that can recognize it as a sound card, or there's a very good chance that your Mac operating system will just recognize it as a sound card. And honestly, some sound cards will just plug and play right into Windows as well, not necessarily needing drivers. It just basically depends how it's made. But this is what this setup is, and a couple people have seen pictures of this. This is both my ceremony rig, my reception rig, and a pair of microphones. Now, I only use one of the microphones in there, but because I'm modular, I set everything inside the box. And I have to do a little bit of complex routing in this. So for my audio and video stream, so what I'm going out to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch via OBS and Restream, I use one of these 24s to act as a sound card. So I have my Newmark NS7 III plugged in via XLR into it. So I've got my audio channels. I also have, if I ever want to, just one mic plugged into that if I want. That actually goes into, right over here, this is a CalDigit hub. And this basically allows me to plug in USB-A type inputs into my MacBook Pro. Anybody with a MacBook Pro from 2016 on knows that they only have USB-C. So you either need an adapter cable or you need a hub like that to be able to take these inputs. And be aware, some USB type cables that go from like C to A type doesn't necessarily work the right way with particular audio equipment. And part of the reason is just the way that all of this is kind of coalesced and the way it's processed and all that. It just might not process it properly if you just have the cable. So in my case, the hub works like a charm. Now, I'm not saying to go spend thousands of dollars on digital mixers, hundreds of dollars on a hub. This is just what I had lying around the house to do this. This is my equipment that I use mainly for either my gigs or my backup equipment, something to that effect. That being said, there are definitely solutions from the iRig 2 to other type of inputs. Basically, the real short of this is if you want to get your analog audio over to your laptop or your desktop, you basically need to convert that. So you want to find something that takes, whether it's RCA inputs, an XLR input, it needs to come into a device that acts as a sound card, and most likely that will have a USB B type interface, those square pieces that goes into the rectangle type pieces, the type A's or type C into your laptop. If you have that, that then converts it over, acts as a sound card, and then your laptop or desktop would be able to just simply select that in the OBS software, and next thing you know, you've got great audio that's being broadcasted out. Now, one more point in all this, because this is an added piece of complexity in mine, I actually go with a lot of my streams, at least my Saturday streams. I also do my radio broadcast as well. Now, with that, I actually need to use my gig laptop to broadcast out to that. It's actually called a Shoutcast server. It also could be an Icecast server for those that are out there using some type of internet streaming service. Virtual DJ itself has that capability to do that. For that, though, I need to make sure my mic is routed over to that before it ever comes back in to go through my audio and video broadcast. So I have this somewhat even more complex route where my microphone and my audio for my radio station initially goes out my gig laptop, goes out to Shoutcast. All that being said, I also have my analog audio coming out, going into my other digital mixer, then going into my hub, into my laptop. From there, I can then process it through OBS, through Restream.io that allows me to go to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I know it sounds complicated as hell, but once you kind of grasp it around, I'm hopefully going to put a picture here and I'll blow it up larger for the video. Once you kind of get around this tech, this particular audio route, then you start saying, oh, okay, this kind of makes sense. A little complicated, but it makes sense. So I hope you like this video. I know it's a little bit more tech jargoned and a little bit more complicated with audio routes and everything, but I really hope you liked it. And if so, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Also hit subscribe on the channel below. Head over to my Patreon page if you really want to support this and want to see more content like this. And actually, if you like this, check out all my other videos on this. Happy streaming, everybody.